Well, hello, hello. Hi, welcome to this very unique career spotlight. Welcome to SpouseForce Live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Torres with Careers, Blue Star Careers, and I'm here to bring you a very amazing special guest for today. But first, I would like to first say thank you for joining us. And for our supporters, this very unique career spotlight is delivered to you by CSX, Pride in Service. And this very special career spotlight features military spouses with unique careers. Either they have drafted their own version of a great career or they enjoy employment with amazing companies. So on this particular case, I have a very special guest. So MilSpouse, Kelly, tell me all about you. Congratulations. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here today. So thank you so much.
And I love how you say my name, Laura.
Laura.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You're welcome. I love your name. So yeah, so thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So as Laura introduced me, my name is Kelly Suazo-Davis. I am the CEO of Anchor In. It's a leadership consulting and coaching firm. I'm also a mom, a military spouse, and on the entrepreneurial journey now for 11 years. So we're going to talk about that as we get more into the conversation.
Fantastic. And so, as we met not long ago, and we just automatically, just kind of like meet people, and you're like, oh my God, that fuzzy feeling, and you're like, I got to know more about you. As I was reading more about you and your unique career, I got interested to learn more about, how did you get started? What is it that you do at your particular career, your unique career day to day? But most of all, how did you get started? What was that? This is what I want to do kind of thing.
Well,
walk us through the timeline of
the timeline. So in 2002, I moved to North Carolina. That's when my husband entered the military. We were young, 22 years old, with a toddler and infant. And I started pursuing higher education, obtained my bachelor's degree. And soon thereafter, my early career was built and started developing right within the Department of the Army. I started working with ACS, family advocacy. That trajectory took me into other departments within the military installation, other offices, other roles. And throughout all of that, there was one common thing, which was my passion and purpose for helping others identify different levels of success, obtain life skills through coaching and facilitation that I did within those roles. And that was a career within the Department of Defense for 15 years. In 2010 was when my entrepreneurial journey took off. And, it has a sentimental aspect to it because it wasn't birthed, I say, from me, from my passion and purpose as, Kelly saying, you know what, I'm going to jump in and become an entrepreneur. That's not what happened. It developed from all the years of filling different roles, working in different positions, different departments. I also had the opportunity as a military spouse, we transitioned a lot. So I had the opportunity to work for quite a few Fortune 500 companies. And through all of that, obtaining all those skills and taking time for self-awareness and self-development in the midst of being a military spouse, in transitioning, in changing jobs, I carved out that time because it was important to me. So as I did that in 2010, I decided to start my entrepreneurial journey. So I started an online boutique. And that online boutique, actually, I started taking the entrepreneur classes while I was at Fort Bragg. And my husband was stationed at Fort Bragg. And I started taking them. And as I started taking those classes, I realized, you know what, this is what I want to do. And it was something that my mom and I used to talk about a lot. and my mom had just passed when I started really getting into what entrepreneurship was and what I wanted to do. It was part of my coping mechanism. So as I did that, it morphed. It took off.
Wow. So I gotta congratulate you for having, first of all, I'm so sorry about your mom and you experienced that, but sometimes some of those life changes or life situations tend to kind of, spark a little bit, just different, just changes internally, right? That make you just redesign your focus a little bit. So in your moments when you were exploring that, going through exploration more, Kelly, when did you have that wow moment, that MilSpouse wow moment that you go like, wow, this is really what I want to do. I love it. Given that you did have experience though, through multiple organizations, as you mentioned, exploring and supporting others find their niche. But when did you feel that wow moment and then identify your niche?
So that the wow moment came from taking the step and starting that online boutique. But I was active in the community, styling military spouses, providing life coaching during that time as well, in combination with that. And that was a journey that lasted 5 years, that business. And for that to click, I had to take a moment to say, we're going through it. I had to evaluate. We were going through a transition. So we were changing military installations. We were also opening a business during that time. And then as I was doing that, I was like, okay, do I get to the next duty station and try to apply for a job? Or do I take this head on and really dedicate time to the entrepreneurial journey? And I did that. So that was the aha moment of, moving, going to a next military installation and saying, do I want to apply for a job or should I just keep this business mobile? And I think that's a question that a lot of military spouses have. And I've heard when it comes to career as well as business, when they're thinking about going into business, do I find a business or start a business that I may have to stop working or stop managing and actually producing revenue? Or should I just find a career or a job within the career field that I have chosen? And, the answer to that, I always say, is the best one that fits your family nucleus, then that's the one that you lean on. If you're single and you're active duty as well as having a business hybrid on the side, then you also have that option. But for military spouses, it's a decision-making process of whether or not will this serve my family well or not. So that's how it just clicked for me, going through that change and that military installation change, or the change duty station change, and also facing that moment of making the decision whether I was going to start as a spouse to build my entrepreneurial journey or go back to applying for another position wherever we end up. So that was the click there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And every station is very different, and as we especially right now, as we finding out, with our survey, with the family listened, with our current REI initiative, every installation is very different. In some communities, it's extremely easy for you to just get on and jump into a career or a job or whatever it is that you're trying to do to keep yourself busy. But then others, you really struggle. So that's when I think some of us, turn into entrepreneurship or just creating or drafting your own thing. Now, in regards to when you started it, what sort of tips or tricks do you think you learned that perhaps you can share with other military spouses that might be looking at your career trajectory and said, hey, I want to do that. I would like to be able to explore a little more of what you do.
Yes. So number one trick is don't dump past experiences. What you obtain and what you learn in different installations, different cities, different jobs that you might have held. I mean, when I started, my husband started, we started as enlisted, right? So a lot of us, I can use acronyms on here because you're all gonna know what I'm talking about. So we went from he went from enlisted to then the officer track. So when we started, we were very young. And now I'm going to speak, to the younger military spouse right now that is figuring it out. Don't disregard where you came from. Don't disregard where you're moving into right now. It takes time to really unpackage where everything is going in your career, in your personal development, in your family. So just take time to nurture that. And realizing that for me, that the 15 years that I spent as an employee, those 15 years have fueled many of my skills and my experiences to launch my first business and now Anchor In. And through Anchor In, I provide the leadership coaching and consulting, and also work with individuals, helping them with personal and professional development, improving in career, improving in business opportunities, or launching a business. So the tips and tricks to that, I would say, is lean on our resilience, on our unique experiences as military spouses. We have a community that is very knit, is strong, all branches. When you're able to find an opportunity within that installation or a group of people, lean on others. Trust as much as you can when it comes to pursuing your career and pursuing your business, because that's something that I learned. As we moved and went to different installations, I connected with my immediate community, both on base and off base. I shared, my desires. I shared my vision for my business and connecting with people that will help me fuel that. So I would say, just connect with your community, connect with the resources that are at your installation, and connect amongst, different groups, throughout LinkedIn, throughout social media, and other platforms. Connect through that. And Blue Star, let me tell you, I have to tell you this, Laura, and I have to mention it. So this is full circle, okay? So it launched, Blue Star, I know that it launched 2009, 2010. During that time, I was working as an advocate on, we were in North Carolina and we were in Texas. But anyway, North Carolina. And it was one of the main resources that I used to share with my clients of how to find community, how to find resources. So, this is like full circle for me, and it's exciting. But just find the resources that will serve and fuel your purpose and what is it that you would like to pursue, whether it's a career or start a business.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, because you're right, it's full circle, and sometimes you just never know, especially those resources, those communities out there, those services, those providers who are there to support a military community. We're all in this together. And so by all means, please reach out and connect. And so also connect, because that's how Kelly and I connected. We connected. Yes. It was just random posts, and I said, hey, I want to know more about you. And then before we knew it, we got into a call in the next week or so. We met through Zoom, and then we made some introductions to other partners or other members throughout our community. And then here we are. It's all about the power of connection and building your community that will allow you to be there. Now, Kelly, in your business, in your career and Anchor In, what is it that the most need that you see, since you work with people kind of like us, but you are a little more in the personalized approach? What are some of those military spouses perhaps trying to find? What is it that either they're finding, they're missing, or they're not looking in order for them to be successful in their career search or business search?
As military spouses, we spend a lot of time, especially if we have kids, pouring into everyone else. So what I encounter when I work with my clients is the aspect of what should I do and what is my purpose and my passion. And it's great that you asked that question, even though you and I did not discuss that, because I do have 3 points, I would say 3 points, but also 3 tips to share with military spouses as you're trying to figure out, what is your career track what is your business aspirations? What is it that you would like to do? And I'm gonna say this, it's very important for you to be able to have that communication with your spouse. Yes. And I say that because our lives are transitional. Our lives don't stay in one place. Adapting, resiliency, just having the fervor to keep on going. We need those things to be able to keep our families together as military spouses. Whether you're a wife or husband, we need those things. So I would say, as you are trying to navigate and figure out, what is it that you want to do, align it with your passion and purpose. If you don't know what's your passion, find out what really bothers you and find out what really brings you joy in the sense of serving others or a product that you would like to sell. Figure that out. Get a pen and paper and jot that down and make it a task to just dissect it. And this may not happen in one day, but just take time to write those things down and figure out what's your passion and your purpose within that professional development aspect, whether it's career or business. Make sure that as you all figure out how long you're going to stay in, that business is mobile. If there's one thing that COVID taught us is to stay agile when it comes to technology and to be able to move our businesses with us as time goes by. So that's another point. So just make sure that it's mobile. Have your clients you could create an Excel sheet, have your clients' email list, and just make sure you can take it with you. Become comfortable with your camera and take your business with you. If you're selling a product, you can sell it online. You can do videos online. If you're selling a service, you can do the same thing. And third, but not last, is your skills, your talents, as well as your abilities. Put those together to fuel what is it that you would like to do. Whether it's a skill that you developed in high school and college or through your career track, put it together, align it with your talent, align it with your abilities, and then couple it back to the first, which is your passion and purpose. And like that, you'll be able to discover, where do I want to start my personal, my professional development or professional track, whether it's career or business, but also it will take you through a personal development process.
I love that. I love all those tips. And the first, of course, the number one tip, and even myself as a remote employee, which I applied very early on, is communicate with your spouse and those around you. Because especially work, you need to have your whole buy-in from your family, because you're not getting paid to service them or to take care of them. Yes. You're getting paid to be at home, but provide a service for your employer. So that was one of the key things right there that I had to educate my family. It's like, nope, I'm working. Nope, I got to close the door. So I'm so on cue with you on that. You communicate your needs, your career expectations, and all those things. And quite often, sometimes we don't do that. We just want to get to work. We just want to do certain things.
Very true. We get on autopilot and we just go. And we don't do the same. And we don't do it. We don't share it as well with our immediate supervisors or managers. So, just the need for growth or the need to switch up and go to another department, whatever it may be, sharing that will open different doors. So it's in both twofold, at home and as well within your workspace. Just share and communicate what are your expectations and align that with everyone else's.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's really great. Now, as we get closer to wrap it up, Kelly, I do have a comment that I would like to bring up in a little bit. But first, I want to ask you, so that your boss is not listening, what is next for you? What's next for Kelly at Anchor Inc.?
Well, the boss is about to share. Okay,
well, tell us, boss, what is next for you?
So,
what's next in your career?
Yes. So next for Anchor In is we're in the process of developing online webinars and also training so they can be accessible to anyone that's interested in developing their leadership style, technique, improving communication within teams, being able to also receive coaching and consulting for their teams, whether it's high-level managers, CEOs, directors, and also another component that I am adding is a unique type of coaching, and I would say pricing. We at Anchor Inn believe that coaching should be accessible and at some level also affordable for people in leadership positions at all levels. So knowing that it's a need right now within the military community, and I'm so excited that I'm here sharing this, we're launching a career coaching pricing business model that will be able to help us serve military spouses across all ranks and all, I would say, not just ranks, but also situationally, in the sense of either they're starting a career or they're within the career they're seeking to progress. And we have wonderful business partners, and that's something that I would like to share too, Laura, 2 seconds. So, being able to transition from installation to installation, I have built a robust list of other military spouses that provide exceptional services. And that is, I would say, one of my superpowers is I'm able to reference to, exceptional other business owners that are military spouses if someone is seeking a service that I may not provide. So as Anchor Inn continues to grow and develop, I invite you all, if you have questions regarding your career or even want to consider coaching, go on www.anchorinn.co and just hit the book a session. 30 minutes, it's free. I'll provide you some insight of how to move forward with your goals and also your leadership intentions. And then we'll move on from there.
Absolutely. And you can also reach out to Kelly right here on LinkedIn, tag her, reach out and make those connections and continue to do the follow-up. And so this is some great news. We're all in this together, so I might as well support each other. And I love it that you have that referral process for other military spouses and small business owners, as well as professionals who can provide that support for our military spouse community by location to location. Now, I do want to acknowledge this comment from Dr. Daveta Hammond, who said the start of the discussion, the aha moment, it's something that grabbed her attention, so she looks forward to watch the replay. So yes, if you watch this and you're catching this towards the very end, please post your comments. We'll come back. I'll come back and I'll answer those for you. But also watch the replay and tell us anything else that you might want to hear or connect to further, as well as if you have a very unique career spotlight and you would like to connect with us, please reach out to me, reach out to Careers. You can also join our Facebook Blue Star Families virtual community, SpouseForce, where you will find more career action and more activities going on. Usually on Thursdays, we have our career-thon, and then we end it at the end of the day with a very unique career spotlight, like today's with Kelly. So anything else, Kelly, that we can share before we wrap it up?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was great. Thank you.
Absolutely. 20 minutes has gone super fast, and I apologize, but we'll get to more comments and questions, and we'll bring them out to you. But until then, thank you so much for supporting and for sharing your very unique career spotlight. And we'll be in touch with you soon. Thank you.